Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Teleport Talk.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're my first guest, so this is a total experiment to see how it goes. But I think I could be a decent podcast host. So
I
I'm
think,
trying it out. I've got my ring light here. I've got my
oh,
computer,
I love it.
so I'm ready to go. So what's up? What's
Oh,
up?
nothing. How about you?
Uh, Not much. Friday. I like doing this on a
Yeah,
Friday because I can just I don't know. It's chill. I don't want to do all this like
yeah,
other operations work and all this stuff. I kind of just wanted to talk. And I think the purpose for this talk and why I'm going to record it and why I want to do it through teleport is one, I was trying to find a way. I'm like, how could we have a conversation and record it? And I was thinking and I was like, Zoom, like Google Meets. I'm like, wait a second. We have that. We built that.
yeah,
So like, why would we not use our own platform? So that's cool. So
yeah,
I'm recording this. So I can reuse this footage of what we've done with you and tell other
right.
people about what the experience was like. So I
Yeah,
guess we can
I
just
love it.
go into it. Just a
Okay.
casual conversation.
Yeah,
I don't really think we're gonna have that many watchers right now, but I just wanted to know is like, so you're one of the first teleport bachelorettes.
uh-huh.
What what has your experience been like so far? You could tell all, be honest. We're a new company, we don't take offense.
Yeah. Um, well, it's been really great. It's honestly, I thought I was like way more nervous for it at first than like I should have been. Like, I don't know, just like people that you've literally never talked to before, like, well, at least in my case, like people I
Yeah.
never talked to before. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to talk about? But like the conversation went super easy for all of them, which I was super thankful for. And it's like, it's crazy how much you can get to know about a person in 5 minutes. So, like, even from that, I can narrow it down. Like, even though it went really quick and like maybe we like ran out of time to talk about something that we started talking about at the end, it still like gave time for me to kind of be like, okay, like I like this person or like I don't like this about this
Yeah.
person.
So
So
what did you think of the application process? Do you think that contributed to how easy the conversations were because you had already seen them on video before?
yeah, I definitely think so. Because I feel like if it was just a regular dating app and you just saw their profile, like anyone can like put good pictures of them, like, or just kind of like type things like how they want to sound. But through a video, it's like, they're actually like sitting there talking to you. So it's more of like a connection.
So then when you got to the 5 minute date, so you had the date applications had come in, we had reviewed them together, you had
Uh
selected a
huh.
group of guys, we reached out to them. We reached out to them, said, "Hey, Kori would like to meet you. Would you like to meet them back?" We meet her back, and they all went yes. We then
Uh
sent
huh.
them a date and time. They came, they showed up, and they had a 5 minute date. So
Right.
what in your 5 minute dates? What do you think separated some from the others? What made a good date versus not as good of a date?
Mm, it's a hard question because I feel like it's on both sides. Like, even in some of them, I felt like maybe I talked about something too much, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we just talked about like working out for 3 minutes, and now we only have 2 minutes left. So I feel like it's like both ways, Like even when I did that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I should have just like moved on to something else. Um, but I would just say like how easy like the conversation flowed with some people, and then other people was like cutting off or like I don't know. So like I mean that just goes with any date or like anyone you talk to even in person. Like you
Yeah.
can kind of know like yeah.
So what I keep thinking about is like, so we're using teleport right now. I'm
Uh-huh.
going through this. We're using it as a podcast instead of a date. But what I'm still realizing is like the importance of listening because it's video chat and because it's harder. It's a harder dynamic than being in person of like the back and forth.
Mhm.
It's forcing me to listen, wait until you're done speaking, and then respond to what you're saying. Which I think some people in the dates they're so eager to just jump and speak and cut you off, or to just jump and say what they want to say, but it really brought back the importance of listening. And as a viewer, and I've watched all your dates, great entertainment, by the way. It was the people who you listen to them, they listen to you, and it was like more of a flow conversation. Um,
Right.
so
It was
what?
kind of like, oh, I would talk about something, and then they'd listen, they'd reply to it, and then they would like, or I'd ask them the same question, or they'd like talk about that aspect of their life, and I would listen. Yeah.
Exactly. So what do you think is a way? Oh, there's your dog.
Sorry, my dogs are
It's all
fighting
good.
in the
You
back.
could. This is in your home. This is all natural. This is all real. That's what we
Distracting.
want.
I picked one of them
No,
up.
no worries. No worries. So what do you think would help make the date move past the surface level stuff and going, because you already know each other, you've already seen each other's profile, so maybe like a little bit of a review process. But how do we get in 5 minute date? How do we get to the part that matters? So the two
Yeah.
part questions: how do we get to that part, and what does matter? What does matter,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. I would say, like, I'm kind of like referring this to a regular date. So if you go on a
Yeah,
regular date, like it's what, an hour, maybe like 2 hours. So I would say, like, and we've talked about this, but nobody's like heard this, but having like prompts up on the screen, or like even fun like little games, like to kind of like keep the conversation moving. So it's like you only talk about something for this amount of time, and then something else pops up and you talk about that. Because then it's like you can even like get into like deeper questions at the end if you want.
yeah. Because I remember when
So,
Sam came with the deeper question. For me as an audience
mhm.
viewer, I was like, oh, finally. Like, because
Yeah,
for us, it's like even on any date, there's those things that matter to each other, and it's like, how do we get to uncover those things quicker? And I think like getting deeper with, and I know yesterday Amelia pulled out the card game We're Not Really Strangers and started asking those
okay.
questions. I think from an entertainment perspective and for a date perspective, I think you're so right on those question prompts. Um, and like, what's like an example of a question prompt? I'm putting you in a spot here.
I know. Hmm. I would say they could be like something so simple and like goofy, or like something like serious. So, like, I don't know, like, what's the hardest thing you've ever been through? Like, I feel like that's a
Yeah,
question anyone can answer like pretty easily. Like, if you want to go there, like, obviously that
yeah,
could be like, depending on the person, really like a touchy subject. So I mean, like, going into this though, like, if you're me, or you're like someone like on the other side, like, you have to know that like anything can be asked,
yeah.
So you're like yourself out there when people are watching.
Did you learn anything about what you're looking for through this process, or learn anything about yourself in dating and watching yourself date after the fact?
Hmm. I would say I already have like a pretty like good general idea myself, but it definitely like at first I forgot people were watching. And like I remember this one part, like this guy said where he lives because he lives close to me, and I almost said where I live, and I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah.
people are watching. I don't really want to like say that. So I would say it was just like different in that way. Like I don't think I really learned anything about like myself, but I've never done like speed dating, so that was like a whole like new thing for me. So I thought that was
And then
cool.
going date to date. So maybe you didn't
Hmm.
realize that you learned some things about yourself, but going date to date to date, and then at the end you made your picks.
Right.
What were the things that led you to pick one versus another? What were the things that mattered to you? And this is different for everybody, right? Like there were some people in the audience who maybe would have chosen someone else for themselves. But what
Right.
made you choose who you chose in the first round?
Yeah. Um, well, I already know that a lot of them like were very similar to me, like why I picked them in the first place. But I would say like I don't know, everyone like has a specific like type, and I feel like I'm just like gravitated toward people that are like my type. Even like after like the live stream, my friends would be like, oh, like these two. Like, I already knew you were going to pick these two. So I would say, like, I don't know. I just, like, naturally gravitate, like, toward people who are, like, my type or like me.
So I guess the question becomes, and then you don't have to answer this, but what is Kori's type? What is Kori's type? We all want to know. We all saw it. We're all watching it, but what specifically is your type? I know you said
Oh
something
my
about
God.
young. I know you said younger. You generally gravitate towards younger.
I
I know that's a thing that you said.
I do, but I'm trying to stop that because it's not worked out for me every time. But not to say it couldn't. But I don't know. I really like to work out, so like this sounds like so bad, but like I need someone who like works out. Like it's just like
That's
a
not bad.
huge part of my so that like someone who's just like confident in themselves. Because I've like dated people who like are not at that level and it's just like a waste of time. So I feel like I can kind of like tell that from talking to someone. I don't know, it's hard to like explain what my type is, but
Yeah, but
someone
I think
who's-
the piece about being confident, the piece about being confident was like it's clear that you dating live in front of an audience and going on teleport and doing this experience, that takes confidence in itself
right,
from you. all
right.
all of these guys who submitted a video application, right, they put a video application in, confidence right there. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people wouldn't do it yet, right? We're
Right.
trying to make kind of show people that this is a great way. Maybe the word application, as we're calling it, is maybe not the right term, but it's
Mhm.
like show a little bit more to yourself through a video than what a
Right.
profile or a text message can do.
Yeah.
So that's where I wanted to ask you, how would you compare teleport to another dating app out there? Like, what would be the
Yeah.
main comparisons, the main things that separate it, good and bad?
Okay. I would
Be
say
honest with us.
hmm. Well, cuz like every dating app is completely different, which is cool. And like everyone definitely has their favorites. I would say hmm. And I really only use it from like the standpoint of being a bachelorette too.
That's
But
true.
I would just say like the whole video thing, like no other app has done that. The closest like Hinge has done like that voice memo thing, which
Mm-hmm.
is like really funny, but that's like the closest thing I've ever seen another dating app do. Besides that, it's always just been pictures and text. So,
So yeah, so I know the other apps do have video chat. That's the thing. They have video chat, but it starts with a profile, then it moves to you match, then it's
uh-huh.
text, and then there's a little video chat button at the top. Have
I
you
didn't
ever
even
used have you ever called someone on there? I assume no, since you haven't realized.
no. Oh wait, on Teleport or another one?
No, no, on the other ones, on Hinge,
Yeah.
on Bumble, on Tinder, it's there. Go check it out after. So it's there. So basically,
Well, that just shows how good of a job they do because I
yeah, so basically
was there.
the flow, what makes ours and why we like to get to video chat faster
Uh huh.
is going from profile to text to video chat. It kind of felt awkward. Like
Mm.
I would sometimes use the features because I wanted to test them out. I would like
Yeah.
try to video call people through the dating apps. No one would ever answer. Maybe
Hmm.
that's a slight on me. I don't know, maybe, but it's just not natural because it started in this other way. So do you
Right.
think that maybe like what made you so comfortable on teleport? And I know you being a bachelorette was the whole process, but what made you say yes to being a bachelorette? What was the real thing that when I reached out to you, you were like, yeah, let's do this. Why not?
Just because it like seemed so different, and I was just like, oh, I was like, this could be fun. Like I literally knew nothing about the app. You
Yeah.
know, I just like saw your message and I was like, why not? Like let's try it. You know, and I'm like, I'm just that kind of person too. But I just like don't get messages like that often about like new and exciting things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was something fun to do. And after the fact, would you say that it
Uh-huh.
lived up to your expectations or did it let you down or somewhere in the between?
No, I would say it lived up to the expectations. Like, and I told you guys too. Like, now that I like went through like one round, I just like I want to do it again. Not saying like that I don't like the people that I met from the first one, because I do. But it's just like fun. And also too, like with the video chat thing, all these people like live in different states. Like they're not by me, you know? So it's like when you go on a normal dating app, it's just like people in your area. And then you have to actually take the time to like meet them in person, which is like a whole other ordeal, you know?
Yeah.
So like being able to like just meet someone like over video, and like especially if they live in a different state, you know, it's just like, oh hey, you know, nice to
Yeah. So
meet
I
you.
guess in terms of dating globally, like the more,
Mhm.
not globally, but dating outside of your state, outside of your region, for
Yeah.
the right person, if you met the right person and you
Mhm.
expanded your pool of people that you could potentially date, if you met someone and it's like there's a real connection here,
Mhm.
would you would you relocate, or do you think there's a lot of people who
Yeah.
would you, for the right person?
It's hard to say,
Tough
like,
question.
yeah, that is a tough question. At this stage in my life, and like especially with my career, I don't know if I could
Hmm.
relocate, because like that's just something that's really important to me. But like I'm never gonna say never, you know? Like
Prince
obviously if
Charming
like,
can come around,
yeah.
right? If
Well, it's
Prince
even like,
Charming's there, like, come on.
yeah. It's even when people say like, "Oh, I'm not really like looking for a relationship," but like if something comes like my way, I'm not gonna say no. And I feel like that's how girls are. Like guys aren't really like that. Guys are
So
like, no, I don't want to date. You know?
that's I think where we want to make this something where it is fun, right? And you met really cool people, and there's a lot of cool people that you have this connection with. Of you had a really cool public conversation with them. You're kind of like, even if you become friends out of it, you become
Hmm.
Instagram followers, and you keep track of their life. You still have that in common. So for you to be
Right.
able to want to do this again, maybe the next time we do this, we try to go a little bit closer to your location. And that was
Yeah.
something we didn't focus on in the last one, but
Right.
that's something that you're looking for. So I think we kind of, maybe we knew a little bit before, but we did learn a little bit about yourself, and that we want to go a little bit more geolocated. And we can totally
Yeah.
do that in the next time. And to all the people who dated you, wasn't anything like personal. You had great conversations with them, but
Right.
it's fun to meet new people,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. I love meeting new people, and especially even like on TikTok. Like I meet so many new people, even like from my area. I've met like people in person, and it's crazy. Like you never know. So
So
that's
are
why like
people
even when you,
recognizing you?
huh?
Do people like go, like you're at like Starbucks or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, that's
Oh
Kori.
no, I mean like other TikTokers like in my area, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this one girl, I'm like, you literally go to my gym, and like she has like a TikTok following, and she's like, oh my gosh, and I was like, that's just so weird, you know?
So those people, are there any of
Mhm.
them that maybe like you and I, we can like reach out to, bring them on and say, hey, like, let's do this.
Probably,
Like we're in the same area. Like you got the other dating apps that like whatever we can swipe on, but let's
yeah,
come have a conversation on this.
yeah.
You got some
Well,
people?
but they could come on as a bachelorette, yeah.
We can reach out to them, but so we only got a minute and 20 seconds, and I know your
Uh-huh.
thing is you don't like to start a new conversation when there's only like 20, 30 seconds left, because I've seen these things.
It
But
is my
is there
thing.
any, there's 1 minute left. Is there anything that you wanted to add or share about the experience, just off off the top of your head?
Um,
Is there anything specific? What were the biggest things that stood out to you as just like overall experience?
I would just say like again, like, and I tell my friends this too, like the whole speed dating thing. Like, not a lot of people have done that. You know, like I don't even know in like another setting like where you would do that. But I just thought that was really cool, and it was like really interesting and different, and
So
like
we
almost like no time wasted. Like bam, bam, bam. You know.
Yeah, and we we thank you for taking the chance on us as a company, um,
Of
and putting
course.
yourself out there in the way that you did. It takes confidence, and we as a company, we thank you for it. We had so much fun watching you, and there's more to come. So
Yes,
thank you,
there is.
Kori. You're the
I
best.
love
You're one of
celebrating.
the first bachelorettes we've ever had. So thank you, and we'll be speaking to you soon. So that's the recap of not my date number one, but my podcast number one, Kori. As always, lovely to talk to. I realize I'm not great at the one on the speaking to the camera part like this. I'm not great at it, so I don't think I want to run a one-on-one podcast anytime soon. Like not one-on-one, like one to many, one to the audience like this. Um, but yeah, so to conclude, thank you to Kori again. She was one of our first bachelorettes. I reached out to her on Instagram and just found her on TikTok and said, I think you'd make a great bachelorette on our site. And we're gonna get applications, and we're gonna choose 5 guys for you to speed date on the Teleport app. Super interested from the start, and since then we've built a pretty cool relationship as a company with Kori, and we've just had a great time in the process. So excited for the next couple rounds that we run with her, and continuing to build new features and build new ideas based on the feedback that comes from Kori and from everyone else that we start working with. So that's a wrap. Thank you, and until next time on Teleport Talk.